It's the season opener, the Visit Florida Grand Prix. Welcome to Sebring International Raceway in Sebring, Florida. Coverage of Cooper Tires presents the Atlantic Championship powered by Mazda, the 2009 season. Today it's the season opener, the Visit Florida Grand Prix. A whole new look for the series, a new owner, and $3 million worth of prize money for the teams and the drivers from around the world that have come here to start this season of competition. Machine young John Edwards in the Newman Walks car.
And John Edwards is lucky enough to win.
We're extremely excited about being here in beautiful Florida where the weather is gorgeous.
A race in the Atlantic Series.
And her teammate, the former TV star Frankie Muniz, third year in the Atlantics. He qualifies ninth. He'll work with Simona this season in Team Stargate Worlds. That used to be U.S. Racetronics. James Winslow, another guy we'll keep an eye on. He's with their
who is from Latvia, and that should make a really strong team this year.
And of course, the Conquest Bunch, IndyCar veteran Schlegelmilch will start his maiden voyage for that team. Bora Garcia will start fifth today, back with the start of the Visit Florida Grand Prix. And by Visit Florida, Florida's official source for travel planning. Go to visitflorida.com. Welcome back to Sebring, the Visit Florida Grand Prix here at Sebring International Raceway, Sebring, Florida. It is the championship powered by Mazda. Starting lineup, the Visit Florida starting grid. Jonathan Somerton on the pole, John Edwards alongside. Frederick Vervish will line up third, and Harold Schlegelmilch will start in the fourth spot. Bora Garcia and Marcus Niemela in the Newman Walks car, and Elliott will want to keep an eye on him. Bomarito's won races in this series, as has Simona Di Silvestro, a couple of key contenders. Frankie Muniz really making a lot of progress. Matt Lee from Long Island. Denise Kazimets has been to victory lane in this series, and Max Lefebvre scheduled to start 12th. We understand he will not be able to take the green. Merle Swan in the 88, first of our C2 Category 2 cars. Sadat Yelkin, Asen Yelkin, Chris Lee back in 17th starting spot. Michael Nakol will line up in 18th. And Michael Malinen, one of the Masters contenders, will start an end of the backstretch here. Our Visit Florida running order, John Edwards will be the restart leader. Whether it's the bright lights of South Beach in Miami or the beautiful sunsets we enjoy when we come to Florida, don't know anybody in motorsports who doesn't enjoy a trip to Sebring and a trip to Florida. You can go surfing, you can go snorkeling, horseback riding, Elliott. So many fun things to do when we come here.
It's the truth, Rick, and I love bringing my family down here because it's a great place to be with them. Great golf, great swimming, and it's just a fun place to be.
Go to visitflorida.com. It is the official source for travel planning for the state of Florida. 5 laps complete. Your Visit Florida running order here in the Atlantic Championship. Top of your screen, Simona Di Silvestro won the opener a year ago out in Long Beach. She'll restart in 6th in front of Denise Kazimets. Safety car has the lights out as they come down the backstretch heading to the final turn, the 17th turn of this 3.7-mile airport course. Pretty bumpy here, mostly concrete as you can see, and this is right where we had that incident that brought out the long caution a few moments ago. You had Jonathan Bomarito and you had Marcus Niemela and the one car get together. Niemela upside down. He's okay. Everything's cleaned up. We should be set for a restart. Elliott, these Garcia and Di Silvestro, your Visit Florida running order, top of your screen.
He's dropping back quickly in this deal. I thought that he'd just stay right on him.
And Schlegelmilch there in the yellow car, the 21 in 4th. He was about to put Somerton under attack for 3rd spot and 6th position. And there's Matt Lee in Eric Jensen's 2 car. Matt Lee, a veteran of this series from Long Island, New York, raced with us a couple of years ago, took it to early in the going of the Visit Florida Grand Prix. Edwards leading Vervish, Somerton, Schlegelmilch, and Garcia. Welcome back to Visit Florida Grand Prix here at Sebring International Raceway. The season open.
I think Edwards is just on today and really doing a great job, not making mistakes.
Watching the field funnel through some of the S's here at Sebring. Long racetrack, as we say, 3.7 miles. James Winslow doing a nice job up tonight. And Denise Kazimets, a driver that we have watched over the years have a lot of success in the Atlantic Championship. He raced champ cars a few times some years ago. Trying to get his career back on track this season. Your Visit Florida running order, top of your screen. For 4th, still Schlegelmilch trying to hold off Garcia and Simona Di Silvestro in the 78.
Yeah, and they're having a great race, but you know...
Side of Garcia going into the corner, but she can't get by. Now she'll try the outside-in move. The door is closed by Garcia. Good battle for position.
Yeah, that's a tough place when you've got a corner where you have a right followed immediately by a left. So
in the world, right, with the Villeneuves and so forth?
Yeah, we had Keke Rosberg back then and Jill Villeneuve, and we also had guys from that ran the Indy cars with Danny Sullivan and Bobby Rahal, and so we had a really good class back then, and it was some really close racing, and everybody moved from this as the some to Indy cars, some to sports cars, but it is such a great training ground that you can learn a lot of racing skills.
Visit Florida running order, top of your screen. This is the Visit Florida Grand Prix, opening up the brand new season. Simona Di Silvestro, a terrific young driver from Switzerland, alongside Garcia for fifth. The same tire package, not quite as fast. The chassis just aren't quite as quick as the new Swifts that have been in the series for a couple of years, but it's a great way for young drivers to get a feel for the Atlantic Championship.
And you can do it without spending quite as much money because you can get the older chassis a little bit more reasonable than the new one. Although it is still cheaper than going to try and run Indy cars or something like that. It's a great class where you can get some really good experience.
The clock ticking, and John Edwards continues to lead. Just knocked off the fastest lap of the race, a 1:55 and some change. Burning fuel off. Of course, the car gets a little lighter late in a run like this.
Well, it does, and it doesn't look like he's giving anybody a chance to catch him when he's still setting fast laps in the race.
Great looking car, that Newman Walks entry, part of Paul Newman's racing holdings. Our top 10 in the Visit Florida Grand Prix, round one of the Atlantic Championship. Edwards leads Vervish, Somerton, Schlegelmilch, and Simona Di Silvestro. Coverage of the Visit Florida Grand Prix today. And by Visit Florida, Florida's official source for travel planning. Go to visitflorida.com.
We're with John Doonan from Mazda. And John, you and Mazda have new associations starting this weekend here at Sebring, Florida as part of the Star Mazda Series and the Atlantic Championship powered by Mazda. Visit Florida and all their associated partners have all become part of this series.
It's absolutely right, Todd. We are very proud to have Visit Florida on board and their partner organizations across the state. It's unique and creative. We geographical locations of the state. They focus on Canada as their biggest international market, the UK as their biggest overseas market, and then certainly domestically a couple of key markets where we race in. So giving the Star Mazda Championship and the Atlantic Championship the opportunity to be on television and to have the young drivers who come here to test in the winter the opportunity to see the state over and over and over, and it's really a unique partnership.
Edwards on his way, it appears, to a nice win in the Visit Florida Grand Prix. We'll be right back at Sebring. Welcome back to Sebring International Raceway, the Visit Florida Grand Prix, season opener in 2009.
Actually coming in on this and moved way away from where she was before.
Good run for Simona Di Silvestro, who didn't qualify terribly well. Schlegelmilch, some of these drivers just meeting their teams, and we heard from Jonathan Somerton at the start. It's got to be hard to get in one of these cars, just have a day or two to get acclimated, come to a place like Sebring, which is so challenging, and then be competitive.
Yeah, well, he got the car on the pole, and, maybe that's what I missed when I was talking about it earlier, is that his race setup isn't as good as it could be. He got it fixed up for a lap, didn't get to do any really long runs in the car to make sure he had a good setup that would last for the race.
Very impressed with what Simona Di Silvestro is doing here. New team for her. This is the former U.S. Racetronics team, now rebranded as...
You have to be very careful how you set them up to make them go on a long run. To get a fast lap, you can put a car with a very stiff setup on it, but it will put a lot of temperature in the tires.
I was going to ask you that at a place like Sebring, which, as we know, is a concrete course mostly, an old airport course, seems to be very... Oh, trouble for Matt Lee, a little smoke coming out of the back end of the two-car. He may have a problem there. Do you need to be soft with your spring and damper setup at a place like this?
Well, you need to be a little bit. You got to keep it off the ground, but you got to keep it close to the ground. So it's a hard setup when you're going to keep it there and still make it soft enough to get over these bumps and over this curves that you end up running over here.
Frankie Muniz, the former TV star, presents the Atlantic Championship powered by Mazda. Great to have you with us. We'll have the coverage here all season long. Our Visit Florida running order, top of your screen. 18 laps. John Edwards takes the honors in the Visit Florida Grand Prix. Back to Sebring International Raceway, the Visit Florida Grand Prix, the season opener.
It was a great weekend, and it's really nice to be in the Florida sunshine, huh? It's freezing back home. I'm just glad to be on vacation, and then to win the race is pretty much a bonus.
Beautiful Florida sunshine, and you seem to take the lead and really didn't seem to have any problems afterwards. This car was just cruising.
Boy, it is. And, when you come on a new deal that you've worked so hard to get to, it's great to have that kind of result.
Our Visit Florida top 10. Let's meet our confidence. All right, let's look at more of our Visit Florida final order finish. Merle Swan wins the C2 category. Let's chat with the third place finisher. Ty. Let's get back downstairs to Ty.
C2 winner, Merle Swan, you and your group of C2 cars, and you come out on top. Is that the rule? The boss gets the first one?
Well, some of the guys might.
And by Visit Florida, Florida's official source for travel planning. Go to visitflorida.com. I'm not sure if he's old enough to drink that. Our Visit Florida race recap of 2009. Cooper Tires presents the Atlantic Championship powered by Mazda. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the Visit Florida Grand Prix. We'll be with you all season.